sorry about that. So Sarah looks at Gerard, a psychopath reduced to tears. And Kevin mentions that it's more until Gerard would have been arrested in 1973. That pain, Mommy and Daddy's disappointment, Kevin's smug smile returned. It's going to be even more disappointing when they find out that not only is their son a complete fuck-up, but also a perverted rapist and serial killer. That you're a cross-dresser, you wear panties, that you've had sexual fantasies since you were a kid child, violent fantasies. You're one of the reasons why I gave up on the retroactive. I should have been assigned to kill you when you were a sick fucking boy, Gerard, not when you've already murdered 2 young women. So Kevin shoots Gerard. And Gerard's death comes a bit easier because he's a fully grown adult, even though he'd already killed 2 women at least by this point. And then we get to the other bit. Her mind already consumed by memories, by Brandon. And this is the reason why I think Sarah Barlow was made a black female detective, because it would match with the other known victims. And this book has done a lot of horrible things, but this takes the cake. Samuel Little was going to kill you. Not all of Samuel Little's victims have been identified, even though he said he killed in specific places. But you've made up a fictional victim for a real-life serial killer. One who was still alive when this book was being written. Without any thought about the real-life victims and the real-life families of this murderer. Stuff you. He was going to murder you in 1972 when you were in Ocala visiting your sister. And then Kevin just disappeared. He's gone through time. And he leaves a folder. United States Serial Killer Studies. The file on Brandon Barlow. The only photos she recognised were ones from his childhood. The ones she took of her son in the years before he would become known as the inheritor. A man who killed over 20 women up until his arrest in 2025, when Brandon was 60 years old. Various notes and newspaper articles highlighted the way Sarah's son would hack up his female victims, most of them prostitutes, some he met online, even a preteen. His sickness didn't stop, nor did his slaughter. But the motive was obvious to the study's experts, and the motive was what ultimately gave Brandon his chilling moniker. How he must have inherited the evil from whoever strangled his mother, Detective Sarah Barlow, all these years ago, a murderer that turned out to be the prolific Samuel Little. So now you're just insulting the families of the victims, saying that because of the cycle of evil, the killers will now go on to be killers themselves. So the children of the victims' killers would go on to be killers themselves because they couldn't help it. I'm not sure which part is more insulting. I mean, the closest that I've ever found to anything like this is with Carey Stainer. His brother, Stephen Stainer, was abducted in 1972 when Carey was 11 years old, I think, and Stephen was found alive in 1980, 7 years later, aged 14. Unfortunately, Stainer died 9 years after that, at the age of 23, in a motorcycle crash. Carey, in the late 90s, became a serial killer. He killed 3 or 4 young women in the California mountains. That's the closest comparison I can think of this case. And good grief, we don't even see Brandon in the book. He's just a plot device. We know absolutely nothing about him. We don't really know anything about Sarah either. What was her intentions? How did she get to become a policewoman? We don't know anything about her life, her hobbies. We don't even know her sister's name. No, wait, we do know her sister. We don't know her grandparents' names. We know absolutely nothing about her. And that probably could have worked with a longer book, but I'm not really certain. And anyway, wouldn't these pictures have disappeared? I'm not sure. Just take care of him, will you? Sarah remembered Kevin saying. She reached out and caressed her son's face, just like she would when she got to her mum's house Monday morning, what she'd be doing well past 1972. You know, in Stephen King's 11/23/63, the Vietnam War was prevented due to the protagonist preventing John F. Kennedy's assassination, but millions of people still died in an earthquake because people still needed to die. I can't remember if it was those who would have died in the war anyway, but could the people Kevin have saved and their descendants, or other people that were inadvertently created by these people being saved, end up being killed in an earthquake or something like that? It can show that actions do have consequences, and you cannot alter the past just because you don't like it, either figuratively or literally. And that's the thing. We don't like the past. I don't like my past. But you can't change it. No one can change it. So why should you? And I hope you've enjoyed this video. It took me longer than I thought it would. But have a good day.